"Drink up," encouraged Dr. Bond, as Pat and I tentatively sipped our champagne cocktails. I suppose you're thinking, oh my God, what was in those cocktails? Had we been slipped a sedative and were more creepy men going to jump out and take advantage of us? Well, even though those thoughts didn't actually cross our minds at the time, we were nonetheless wary of Dr. Bond's intentions. "Let me show you around," he announced. Well, it certainly was a beautiful apartment, extravagantly furnished and filled with expensive-looking art pieces. "I have 5 bedrooms, so you can have one each." Pat and I had already decided that we'd stick together as much as possible, because we simply didn't trust the good doctor. When I told him that we would share one of the bedrooms, he was absolutely astonished and just couldn't believe that we didn't want to wallow in the luxury of our own feather bed. "I hope you change your mind," he said, as we settled into the white bedroom. Yes, everything was pure white, as the driven snow, flakes of which could be seen falling outside the window and shining like crystals against the dark sky. "I'm sure you gals would love a sauna after your long journey." He handed us 2 thick, cosy bathrobes. "Get undressed and I'll show you where it is." As Pat and I pulled out our swimming costumes from our backpacks, Dr. Bond said, "Oh no, gals, you won't need those. Just your robes will do." Pat and I exchanged questioning looks as we closed the bedroom door, took off our clothes and donned the bathrobes. We followed Stanley into the elevator and within a few seconds arrived at the spa on the lower level. Dr. Bond pointed out the huge Olympic-sized swimming pool and then led us into the empty sauna room. I suppose, quite naively really, and because we were unfamiliar with saunas, Pat and I thought there would be separate saunas for men and women. But that wasn't quite the case. Bond took off his robe and flopped down ungraciously onto the sauna bench like a big walrus, revealing more ugly flesh than we ever wanted to see. "Come on, gals, don't be shy." He tapped the bench and beckoned for us to sit next to him. "No thanks," I said. There was absolutely no way either of us were going to shed our bathrobes, so we just stood there in the hot sauna not knowing quite what to do. Bond then got up abruptly, moved past us to the other side of the sauna and plunged into a barrel full of cold water. "Ooh, this is the best part. You gals don't know what you're missing." Yeah, I think we do. We walked out of the sauna and waited for the performing seal to take us back to his apartment. Once there, he immediately shed his robe and we were again exposed to his naked body. He felt more comfortable without clothes, he informed us, and had only worn shorts to greet us in case we thought he was a pervert. Very funny. We declined his offer of a nightcap, since we weren't exactly sure what that would mean, and quickly ran up to our bedroom on the 2nd floor. Thankful there was a lock on the door, we breathed sighs of relief as we put on our pyjamas and fell into the huge, extremely comfortable feather bed. Then the door handle rattled, and when it didn't open, Dr. Bond knocked on the door. "I just want to come in and say good night to you gals." "Good night," we both said in unison, looks of horror on our faces. But he didn't go away, and just kept knocking and pleading for us to open the door and let him in so that he could say good night properly. We didn't say a word, and eventually he got the message. Not sure what to expect the next morning, We tentatively left our bedroom together and slipped into the bathroom next door. Neither of us wanted to be separated from one another because we had no idea what the good doctor had up his sleeve, if indeed he was wearing such a garment. We heard him calling to us from the kitchen. "Glad you're up. Come and have breakfast. I have a few chores for you girls." We were hesitant to enter the kitchen, fearing that we would have to see Stanley in his birthday suit, which definitely would have put us off our croissants. However, he was fully clothed in ski gear. He wanted us to buy a few bits of food, as he put it, and make a little dinner for 3 young ladies he would be entertaining that evening. "You're going to be working together, so it'd be good for you to meet." What exactly will the work be?" I dared to ask. "Oh, we're all going to be in Paris. Oh, it's going to be so much fun." "And the work?" Pat asked. "It's a study on sexuality through the ages," was the response. Yeah, that sounds about right, I thought. He dropped a few francs on the table together with the elevator key. "That should cover the food. Have a beautiful day," and then he left. There was no doubt that the sooner Pat and I got out of there, the better. But the problem was, we didn't have any money. We contemplated taking the francs he'd given us for the food, but it hardly covered the cost of a few basic items of food, let alone train fare, and besides which, we had no idea where to go next. The 3 young ladies were gorgeous and quite elegant. I think they were all in their early 20s. One was a blonde, blue-eyed Brit and apparently from aristocracy. Another was French, her dark hair cut into a Mary Quant style. And the third, a German, had glorious curly red locks and penetrating green eyes. She looked more Irish, actually. But I'm not kidding, they were beautiful, and you'd swear they were top models. Pat and I really did feel like the hired help as we served a very meagre dinner, which didn't seem to interest them anyway. They certainly drank a lot of wine and fawned over Dr. Bond, which pleased him no end. Pat and I were in shock. We just didn't get it. Not only was he physically undesirable, to us at least, he also had a terrible case of halitosis. As they chatted away, alternating in French, German and English, it was clear that we didn't belong. But we'd already made that decision. After a couple of hours, the trio left with Dr. Bond, heading for a disco. We were invited, but chose to decline, as we needed to figure out our next move. We were awoken by Dr. Bond knocking on our bedroom door around 9 a.m. the next morning. "Wakey, wakey, I'm going skiing again, girls. Why don't you join me for lunch? Just take the bus outside. It'll drop you at the restaurant. See you there at 1 p.m. Toodaloo." We heard the whirring sound of the elevator leaving and could breathe again. "Oh, I think I'll go for a swim," I said. "Okay, I'll join you a bit later," Pat said as she snuggled back into the covers. I'd been in the pool for almost an hour and Pat hadn't shown up, so I decided to go back to the apartment. I didn't see her there in the apartment, so I went up to the bedroom. The door was locked. "Pat, are you okay?" A few seconds later, she appeared at the door, the colour of her face blending in perfectly with the white bedroom. "Oh my God, what happened?" "It was him, Marie. It was horrible. I was in the bathroom. I had the door open. I saw him in the mirror. He grabbed me. I got away, but he chased me up and down the stairs, and then he pinned me against the wall." She was crying hysterically. I said, No, I kneed him in the balls and got away. I've been locked in here ever since." "How did he know I wasn't here?" I said, and we heard the elevator leaving. It makes no sense. "He's a psycho," Pat sniffled. Although she was upset, we actually had a good laugh as she relived the scenario of running up and down the stairs, wrapped only in a towel, then back and forth around the furniture while he was in hot pursuit. I pictured a French maid with a feathered duster fleeing from the evil villain. That's it, I don't care where we go, we've got to get out of here. I was so angry. Needless to say, we didn't meet Dr. Bond in the Alps for lunch, but instead wandered into town trying to figure out what to do. I believe there are angels everywhere in life, and they really are looking out for us. We hadn't gone far when I discovered a 20-franc note lying on the ground in front of me. Thank you. Then we met a couple of American GIs who were working at a US Army hospital in Stuttgart. They were driving back the next day, which happened to be New Year's Day, and said they were sure we could get work there, especially because Pat was a nurse, and I'd for sure get in because I had a nice English accent. When Stanley returned from skiing, he wanted to know why we hadn't joined him for lunch. Are you kidding? I was standing in the kitchen with the blue Formica table separating me from the scumbag, while Pat had locked herself in the bedroom. I told him how despicable he was for pouncing on Pat, which of course he denied. We want the travel money you promised us, and we're leaving tomorrow, I said. He began to resist. I've given you room and board, he started to say. But now it was my time to pounce. I called him every low-life name I could think of and threatened to report him to the medical authorities for his unethical behaviour. He soon coughed up the cash. And that night, while he and his trio of young ladies were at a nightclub bringing in the new year, Pat and I sat on that same luxurious fur-covered couch, looking out at the marvellous fireworks exploding over the Swiss Alps, and toasted our future with mugs of hot chocolate, laced with brandy, naturally.